and welcome back to the 10th episode of the Airshow Lounge podcast. In today's episode, we have a really cool announcement from Cosford, finally showing that they have something in the bag, and we also have a massive contingent of RIAT stuff to talk about. My name is Dan, and joining me today's episode is... And again, it is a two-person episode this week, but I'm sure we'll have loads to talk about, so it's probably not going to feel like it. I'm going to get straight in with the big news. With Cosford pulling out Couteau Delta from the French Air Force, the Mirage pair display team. Not to be mistaken with Ramex Delta, who have retired. Couteau Delta are going to be displaying at Cosford Airshow this year. Wow, what an announcement.
I think this is brilliant. I mean, the Rafale we've seen many other years at both, especially at RIAT, and it's always an amazing display. But I know we were chatting just before recording. I think I remember seeing I think it must have been said the Ramex Delta at RIAT a couple of years back, and I think it's probably going to be relatively similar. And all I can really remember is just these two Mirages going up and down, aerobatics, the lot, and just pretty much full afterburner the entire way and just creating an obscene amount of noise. And it was just one of those displays, but I don't know I really took too many photos. I was just in absolute awe of what they were doing with these two relatively quite big, beefy jets.
Absolutely. It's one hell of a brilliant display, and credit to Cosford, as we have spoken on previous shows. We've said, what have they got up their sleeve? They're dragging out RAF participants. What have they got? And they have got this. They have got what is probably quite a rare display. When was the last time we had Mirages in the UK? It must have been 2017 or 18 for a display. So it's probably been a solid 5 or 6 years since we must have had them. So absolutely brilliant pull. And kudos to the team for pulling that out of the bag. Whether or not they get any more international participants, we will obviously see at the time. But for now, I think, we're nearly there justifying the price, maybe. You probably got some aviation enthusiasts for the show now with that. Maybe it just needs one more good pull. I think then we could probably say, yeah, it's worth the money.
I think it's an amazing catch. I mean, just having a quick read about the Couteau Delta. So they say it's a purely tactical demonstration team that showcases the roles and performance of the Mirage 2000D over a 15-minute display. That's quite a decent length display. I think the Typhoon is only 8 or 9 minutes.
Yes, something like that, yeah.
It's almost double the length of the Typhoon display. Executing high G tactical maneuvers at speeds up to 620 knots. That's probably the quickest most jets will ever do over land, surely.
It would not surprise me if they limit that a little bit further for RIAT, if I'm being honest. It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, there's a picture as well at the bottom of this article on the European Airshow's website, and there's them flying on what looks like the crowd line with a nice vapor cone around it. So they're definitely pushing the absolute limits of what they can, legally do over land.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it must have been Ramex Delta back in 2017 or 18. I think it was one of their last shows together. And I think they did end up going subsonic or not fully breaking the sound barrier, but creating a little shockwave boom. So absolutely, it's going to be a brilliant thing to see. And just to confirm, the last time we had something like this in the UK was 2018 for the centenary of the Royal Air Force. So it's 6 years now? So brilliant to have them back. Whether or not we'll see them at other shows, we do not know. Obviously, it seems like, I think this has been discussed online as well, and I talked to you about this at the start before we start recording, that it seems like the French allocations have come out for all their displays as everyone seems to be getting it. Just a quick throw to Guernsey Airshow, who have secured the Mustang X-Ray display team, which is 2 PC-21s. Which we saw, I think, in 2022 at RIAT.
The blue one.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember them.
So that was 2022. So Guernsey have got that as a display item, which is nice to see that they're supporting the Channel Islands displays. I think Solar Airshow have announced that they've got the Rafale. So loads of different airshows have been announcing that the French assets, basically, from about this Friday that's just gone. We're recording this on the 21st, so 21st of April. So yeah, it seems like French allocations are out. So from everyone seems online to be on some form of agreement in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we're probably going to get the French from RIAT at some point.
I think just going back to the Mirages, I'm looking at quite a few pictures over the last couple of years. They always seem to have at least one of them has a special tail. So hopefully they sort of
Ooh,
carry that forward. I mean, I don't know if they had them because they were of a certain a certain year, so they're commemorating something. They just happened to use it as the demo bird. But they all seem to have either a nice paintwork scheme. There's one from I assume either last year or 2022 where there was like a desert camo painted scheme possibly. So
oh,
so hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a nice scheme or tail or something that comes out of Couteau Delta that they bring over. Because I think it's always nice to add a bit of colour to what can always be a rather
yeah.
grey affair. Although they do seem to have sort of as standard a sort of
I think it's a
green and
yeah, it's
grey mottled camouflage
camo
anyway.
sort of
So
thing. Yeah, it is at least it won't be just complete grey, which is nice. And obviously it's gonna be great to see two fast jets screaming over the an airfield in the UK with such close formation, and it might be a thing for me to potentially go and somehow get some money to buy a Cosford ticket. It
absolutely,
might, so we'll see whether or not that happens. Um, but we might as well move on to the next set of updates that we've had from RIAT. It's been 2 weeks again. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 weeks, but it has.
it flies by.
It does fly by. We are now what three? We're less than 3 months away from the airshow, no less than 90 days away. So,
Yeah,
we're so close.
they did a nice little post, didn't they? You know, the whole 3 months and the whole beginning of the countdown now, isn't it? It's
We're
going to
so close.
quickly ramp around and it's nearly May already and then it's June, then it's Rio.
Well, I say Midlands is only a month and a bit away now, so we're not too far away at all from
Mm,
being in the thick of the airshow season, which is the best part of the year. Um,
looking forward to it so much.
Absolutely. So this year is just, as I keep saying, is hopefully going to be a really good year. And I think that is definitely being proven at RIAT with some of the announcements that they're getting and some of the rare stuff that they keep adding to their static park. I mean, started off with some of the flying stuff that they've announced. The Jordanian Falcons are back as ever. Hopefully this year they actually get to display, unlike last year where they just didn't. Uh, but they get the Hungarian Gripen. It seems to have been sort of caught in the midst of everything else being announced, but we've got a third Gripen, which again is another very good display from Europe, and brilliantly back for the first time since I think 2018 is Solo Turk, which is probably now, since though Dream Viper and the Belgians are not just playing, I'd probably argue it's probably the best F-16 demo in Europe, if not the world.
Oh, I think it's got to definitely be up there. I can't remember if I've definitely seen Solar Turk, and I think it just absolutely just pushes the physical capabilities of I think both the jet and the pilot. I think, to be fair, I'm surprised they allowed him back after his last escapades.
Let's put that behind us. Glad to see them back in the UK.
100%. I think given current climates and what with the slow drawdown of the F-16 across the globe, it's nice to still have these F-16 displays that are still supported by the nations. They're not getting rid of them just because they're getting rid of the jets. They're keep on flying the flag almost quite literally for Solo Turk and wowing us around the world with their performances.
Absolutely, and it makes what now two officially confirmed F-16 displays for the show for the 50th anniversary of the F-16. We know that the Polish F-16 has self-confirmed, and again in a later post that's been put out this week by some of the airshow news outlets that the Polish sort of display list for everything has been leaked online, and again it's listed for RIAT. So we know potentially that we're going to be getting another F-16 display. I'm pretty sure Zeus demo from Greece got to be soon announcing their schedule at some point. Um, it's got to be surely within the next couple of weeks now. So yeah, we're looking like we might end up. We'll definitely probably end up with 3 F-16s, if not 4, and that's without any other potentially from any other nations, wherever or not that comes. It's shaping up to be a nice little anniversary so far. I'm not going to call it a success or anything yet until we've got some more static items. Although we have had two, 3 F-16s added to the static list, which is basically quadrupled the number that we have now. So we now have 4 on the static. One being from Belgium. The Belgians have been able to spare us an airframe, which I know they've got very hard times at the moment with everything that they're doing and transitioning over the F-35 and training pilots. So they are just limited on parts, and it's glad to see that they're going to be able to at least get one over, which is nice. But I think probably from the last 2 updates, probably one of the rarities is getting a pair of Jordanian F-16s. We know they support the show really well, and I've mentioned the Jordanian Falcons, but what a rare catch.
These are new F-16s too, aren't they? They're not, I
I don't
believe.
know. They might be AM. I think they're AM. So I think they're ex. They are ex Belgian or Dutch. I think.
Okay. I think I remember reading somewhere that they had purchased some new ones. Maybe they haven't been delivered just yet.
Maybe.
But either way, F-16 is an F-16. I think almost to have them on the static is quite nice because it's very rare that we see anything fast jet really from like one of those more exotic type countries. Say to have a Jordanian F-16 on static to get up close and nice to have a look around properly. I think will be a really good catch for quite a few aviation enthusiasts. I think one thing to add as well, the Jordanian Falcons. I know they get a bit of a bad rap online, but I think they're a really good little display team. I think they're quite overlooked in some cases. Maybe
Mm,
RIAT isn't maybe the best location for them with such a long display line and such small aircraft. But I think they still make a good use of it, and it's still always an enjoyable. Well, at least I always find it's an enjoyable little more relaxed piece of the normally quite fast-paced flying display.
I was about to say, especially in this year's flying display, we are what I think. I think as of the 21st of April, we currently have 10 fast jet demos confirmed for RIAT.
So much noise, so much noise.
Insane, and that's without obviously getting any others that could come to RIAT. I
So
mean,
still 3 months out. There's still what 12 at least 12 updates to go in theory,
12
maybe
or
11.
11, maybe. Yes, I think we're halfway through. Must be about halfway through updates, but no, we have 10, and not just 10 of the same, but a variety.
Mm.
Like, we have an F-18, we have a Harrier, we have Gripens, we have Typhoons, we have F-35s, we have F-16s. It's a variety of jets. And it could still expand, if the French suddenly send us a Rafale or something, that's another different jet. If we get a Mirage, let's say, that's another different jet. I mean, possibilities are endless. I mean, what else could the Polish send? Could we get something else from them? And these other it's so good, and it's nice to see the variety, especially when everyone's going, oh my god, everyone's gonna have the F-35 soon, and that we're getting such a nice variety this year already, and even on the static line as well. I mean, I'll finish off with the Jordanians component. We have their C-130s, it always comes.
Hmm.
Apparently this year, though, it might be one of the ex-US Air Force ones in a grey scheme. So I know they always come with the nice camo colourful ones, but it might be a new one for them, but ex-US Air Force, in a grey camo, which would be interesting to see. Because
I,
it's a rarity, isn't it? It's like we normally see the camo one, so to get one in grey that we might normally complain about, but from the nation it's coming from is actually a rarity. So for those sort of paint watchers and number getters, it's going to be a nice one for them.
I was about to say a very similar thing. I was going to say, it's always nice to see something so colourful, and they always come with some impressive paint scheme on the side of
Absolutely, yeah.
C-130. I think just to get an operational style grey one will be something a bit different because it might be in a slightly different fit out because I can't imagine they'd be using a fancy painted one for operational missions when they've got
Mm,
the grey one. So maybe it's in a slightly different fit out, maybe a
potentially,
little
yeah.
bit dusty, a bit grubby, a bit more used looking. I
Yeah.
think when you got a, a grubby jet, it just and it's been used properly, it just adds an extra little bit of not say realism about it, but depth to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think let's go to something that also might be a little grubby, bit dirty, bit old, been used for a while. Turkey, not just sending solo Turk, but also for the static display, a pair of F4 Phantoms. Absolutely, yes, please. 2 reacts in a row, F4 Phantoms. Yes,
Yeah, there's nothing more I think really to say other than just yes, and
yes.
also apart from more, please, maybe.
More, please. Greece. Hello. Hellenic Air
I
Force. Are
just,
you
I,
listening?
I just think they're just a stunning bit of kit. I appreciate I didn't get much chance to look around the Greek ones last year because it was in the middle of a biblical downpour. But the time that I did get to spend around it, I thought I was just standing there looking at them in awe because you're so used to seeing the modern day Typhoons, F-35s, whatever else, but just a proper bit of Cold War engineering. You can't just absolute brute of an aircraft.
It's amazing, and it's nice to see that we are going to get um, them on static again. It's 2 years in a row now. It's three times within the past four RIATs that have been going. 2019 we also got the Turkish F4s on static, so we've had four air shows in obviously between COVID and now, and for three air shows we've had Phantoms. I mean, that's a brilliant rate.
Mm. Especially given the fact there's not many operators. I think only the
Is
Greeks
it,
and the Turks, I think, that still use them.
do the
At least,
Iranians still use them? Obviously, are we talking like actual chances of them coming to RIAT? Because I think the
yeah,
Iranians
actual
still use them.
chances, yeah. So I think to get them quite often, given that they're not probably haven't got too long left
Yes.
on service, the more chance we get to see them, I think is you can't go wrong with them really.
Yeah, and again, talk about more rarity aircraft. Qatar are supporting the air show quite well this year. Not just with aircraft that are going to be delivered to them, which are going to be coming from the production plant, which we have a Qatari Hawk and a Typhoon, as we have had in previous years, but they are bringing a C-17, which, as of current, is planned to be their Qatari Airways painted one that we got in 2019. And in the back of it, thank God, finally someone's taken the idea of putting something in the back of it and getting something rare. As much as it's an NH90, it's a Qatari NH90.
I think that's a nice little way. I think it's a really good way of doing it, bringing over a rare bit of kit that we wouldn't normally get to see on UK soil, and they probably wouldn't fly it just on its own for an air show in the UK because it's a long old way.
Yes.
But if they can stick in the back of a C-17, it's a really good way of showing, hey, look, this is what a C-17 can do. And at the same time, we get to see a nice, what looks like a nicely painted NH90 in the what seems quite standard now Qatar camo livery with a little roundel on it.
I mean, yeah, again, for numbers crunchers and for people that just like to see an aircraft with a different round on it, it's going to be great. And I've just had a thought right on the fly. Maybe they could have it almost half in, half out of the C-17, almost like they're halfway through unloading it, as sort of like, because that'd be just a
That
different
would
photo in
that would be
itself, wouldn't
really
it?
cool because obviously normally you got C-17 or A400M or whatever in the static park and they're got the ramps open, but there's just an empty
Mm.
cavernous space. So actually, yeah, that could be interesting. I wonder if they would be even allowed to do it, but I can't imagine.
I don't see any reason why, if they're going to have the back door open, why not just, if you secure it up well
It's going
enough,
to be
just,
in there, and it's going to be in there anyway.
yeah.
It's not like they're flying it in and then trying to maneuver it up a ramp somewhere. It's going to be in the aircraft already.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something that
Mm.
RIAT have considered. Maybe not. Maybe, again, for some people, they would just like to get the whole photo of the aircraft. So I guess it's who you want to please, really, because one, it'd be a great photo opportunity in itself to see something being unloaded from, or well, I say unloaded in quotation marks from a C-17. But then again, for someone that wants to get a full photo of a Qatari NH90, you're not going to be able to do that
Mm.
in the back of a C-17. So yeah, you're sort of playing around with what you can get, but it'll be just something different. And that, I'm all for getting something different out of an air show, and especially at RIAT where different things are absolutely possible.
Nice to see the Typhoon and the Hawk on the list too. So you mentioned earlier the Typhoon one being from Wharton, so hopefully in the nice Qatari Typhoon
Yes,
livery, and then potentially one to be confirmed later down the line from 12 Squadron at RAF Coningsby. So again, that's obviously the joint Qatari RAF training squadron. I think last year they sent two from 12 Squadron, one in a air-to-air fit and one in an air-to-ground fit.
they
So
did. Yeah,
sort of showcasing that complete breadth of operations that the Typhoon can carry out. I thought it looked so mean last year. It was brilliant. And then the Hawk as well. We see a lot of Hawks that react with the RAF T2s. But again, it's another operator and another maybe hopefully I doubt another paint scheme, but at least
yeah,
it's still from another operator that's not everyone will see, given that they're sort of normally holed away up in the north of England, away from most people. Really, they don't really get to see them too often.
Yeah, I think other things that have been added to the static display, we have the Draken, Dassault Falcon, and L159 Honey Badger have also been added to the static lists as well. Which I think wasn't the Honey Badger meant to come last year? I think it cancelled toward the end.
I think so, and I think these are quite interesting aircraft, just from a purely aviation enthusiast perspective, just because of the physical role they carry out. They sort of carry out that red air aggressor type role for the RAF. They can spoof other aircraft. They appear as MiG aircraft or a malfunctioning airliner. They can pretend to fire missiles at other aircraft, and I appreciate you won't ever get to see the inside of one, but even just to, again, they normally spend 90% of their time out in the North Sea or dive bombing Royal Navy ships in the Channel. So to actually get to see one, as opposed to just spotting them on ADS-B or flight radar, will be a nice little catch.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's great to see that more civilian stuff will be a thing, and as RIAT have teased that we'll be getting more civilian stuff, especially for the pushing the boundaries sort of theme that they have later on as we go through. I just want to sort of now change a little bit to a prediction side of what's coming and talk about things. Notable thing that the RIAT did talk about this year, in this update that's just gone by, was the Chinook, as they call it, capability demonstration. I presume that's what they've been told that it's going to be. And they've said that they have basically received confirmation from Joint Helicopter Command that they plan to send a number of this, one being the Chinook to perform that display. I just can't wait to see what it's going to be. I hope it's slung loads like we spoke about in previous podcasts. I hope it's slung loads and things driving out the back and people rappelling down. We will see. But absolutely, I have high hopes for it, hopefully.
I think, I've had a quick look online beforehand and sort of seen previous capability demonstrations that have been carried out by the Chinook, and it seemed to, like you mentioned, sort of incorporate abseiling or fast roping of troops from the Chinook, underslung loads, and I think just probably showcasing more of what the Chinook can do in an actual real life scenario, as opposed to the standard demos, which are let's push an aircraft as far to the limit as possible, but actually in realistic terms we wouldn't maybe use all these maneuvers and whatnot in real life. But with it being a capability demonstration, they're probably not going to push it as far. But I think it will still be impressive given some of the stories that come out of Chinook operations and what the airframe itself is capable of.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very cool sort of demonstration to see what they're going to do with it. It's nice at least because they've not got a full display team this year, that they're at least able to provide something to UK air shows, including it's already announced at Cosford, and to be obviously it's not officially announced at RIAT yet, but I'm sure we'll get an official confirmation from RIAT and Joint Helicopter Command with other assets that they're going to send as well. But I am going to officially now move to the rumour side. I was having a think this week, and I don't know whether or not the listeners at home or wherever you are think something similar to this. And I'll drop the seed in your mind. Currently, we're filming this podcast on the 21st of April, and so we have 9 days left of April. Back in March, the last update of March, the RIAT did tease they were going to hopefully announce Canadian static assets this week. This month. As it said, we hope to be able to announce the static aircraft participation next month, in addition to the previously announced CF-18 in the flying display. Now, we only have one Thursday update left, which would presume that it could come in this Thursday update. Now, that could be the case, or I sort of planted the seed in Matt's head as well before we started filming. Last year, in June, on a random Tuesday, I think it was, we got a special update which announced all of the Italian static aircraft. I'm wondering whether or not in the next couple of weeks, maybe this Tuesday or Monday or something like that, or the Tuesday, Monday after, we may get this capability, this sort of static announcement of Canadian assets.
I think that'd be quite nice. The Canadians have got a nice little range of assets they could probably bring over in their modern era. Obviously, I think we've got already confirmed the FA team, which is, I think, a very hotly wanted demo around the world. So I think that's incredible that we managed to catch that, especially in their 100th year. I just think, looking at some of their inventory they do have, I believe. Oh no, they haven't got them yet, but they're on order, aren't they? The F-35s, but they've got
Yes.
the Auroras. They're slowly going out of service, but that could be a nice little catch potentially. They've got some quite rare stuff. The Hercules of varying styles. They've got those transport tanker aircraft. I think did one come last? No, that was for Cobra Warrior, wasn't it? I think that one came for.
We've had a couple of different Canadian stuff, haven't we, over the past time? I think we've had a Aurora once. We've had a C-130 in the past couple of years. Because I think, haven't they got a C-130 that's basically based up at Prestwick? It's not actually, but it seems to spend more time to and from Prestwick than it does
Yes.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably get something similar to that. It's just getting other sort of heavy stuff. I think realistically, we've got to think heavy stuff because it's not like the Italians where it's a 3-hour,
Short hop. Yeah.
it is a potentially 8-9 hour flight. So it's if they bring a C-17, could they stick a Huey or something in the back of it? A C-130, could they stick anything in the back of it? Maybe we get an F-18 for the static. That'd be cool. Maybe.
I think that's not probably a million miles away because I'd imagine they'd probably want to bring a spare jet. Now, whether they just park it in the green zone like some of the other fast jet demo displays do, so you can sort of still see it without it being hidden away on the north side.
I don't know. Maybe they send like 3 or 4 over. Maybe they just bring it in a whole contingent. Maybe we then get like a tanker from them or something. Maybe I don't know. They're sort of maybe debating the idea about all this. I don't know. Maybe I think it'd be cool, and hopefully we do get a good chunk of modern assets, and hopefully we get a good chunk of civil assets that are maybe ex Canadian or something like that. We already have a chipmunk and a vampire announced that will be in Canadian colours.
That chipmunk is in a stunning, beautiful yellow color scheme, by the
Is
way.
it?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times with Shuttleworth now because that's where it's based, and it's almost impossibly shiny under the lights in there. So
That should be nice to see then when it's on static. Hopefully we get some sunshine to make it shine as well. And now that I've done that, we'll have a look at the ongoing list as soon as we're getting towards the end. So have a look at the ongoing list. What have we had added in recent months? Which I think we've had the Indian Air Force were added, not this week but last week. Which again, that sends my brain into overdrive of Big 29s. Hello, please. Jaguars.
I think even their little trainer is it the Tejas or
The
Tejas aircraft
Tejas.
could be quite.
Yeah.
Again, that's something that we've never seen in the UK.
Again,
That'd be a
is that a
UK
possibility of?
first.
Have they got C-17s? Is that the ability to chuck it in the back of a cargo aircraft to bring it across? Maybe I don't.
Yeah, they do because they brought the C-17s over when the Indians came with their Mirages
Oh, they
for
have Mirage as well, don't they? Oh,
for Cobra Warrior, but last year, last March it was.
they've got too many aircraft for me to want. Could they bring over like one Jaguar, one Tejas,
Just one of everything.
one Mirage, one MiG 29? You could send one of everything over, please. But no, I think that's a good one. I think one that I've been excited for this week, and I've really sort of like the prosperity of, is the Moroccan Air Force have been added to the ongoing list, which do operate F-16. So again, it'd be a rare F-16 operator that we could get at the show that operate a really, really nice camo F-16.
Oh, that is stunning.
It is a really stunning F-16. I presume you just looked it up on Google.
I haven't. I've just googled Moroccan F-16, and the first one is the first picture shown is a stunning 4-ship in that gorgeous desert camo scheme.
Yes, it's honestly it's brilliant. My brain might be going somewhere here. Do Moroccans have a display team?
I don't know. Do I have to quickly Google Moroccan display team
You
now?
might have to Google Moroccan display team. I am 90% sure. I don't know why. I'm 90% sure they have a display
They've
team.
got one called the Marche Vert or Green March, the aerobatic demonstration team of the Royal Moroccan Air Force. What do they fly? They fly the Mudri Cap 230s. So like little extra type aircraft.
How many is it? A 4-ship?
Let's have a look. There's not much. I don't know. It says initially the team consisted of only 2 planes. In the course of time, this was increased to 7.
So they have 7 of them.
Yeah, they do. They fly a
Hmm.
7 ship. But interestingly,
Oh.
their patch they wear has got Alpha jets on it.
Oh. Huh?
But they
I'm
do
gonna.
have but they've got a CASA CN 235 as a support aircraft, which might be quite interesting.
Ooh. I'm just looking now. I'm looking at some of the photo. I've just had a Google myself. They've got ropes attached between the rings.
Oh, actually, do you know what? I wouldn't mind if they came. Have a quick Google of their Moroccan CASA 235. That is in the very similar camo color scheme
Is it?
to the F-16s. That's especially compared to most time you used to see the the green, also the greenish grey looking ones. So to get a camo transport aircraft could be
I'll tell
could
you
be
what. Now that could be. If they're going to support the air show this year, maybe bringing over their display team in an F-16 or two. I think
It's
they
also
also.
and it's not a million miles for them either
It's
when
not.
you
No,
think
it's
about it.
probably what. It's North. It's North Africa, isn't it? So it's
It's
just off Spain.
almost well, yeah. You can I think you can pretty much hop across to Gibraltar from the
Probably
very
could. Yeah.
north of it. So
Oh, maybe maybe there's a chance for that. Yeah, I'm seeing some photos. They have like ropes attached to them in their close formations, like to each wing.
that's quite impressive.
I,
They do.
um, I thought I'd seen a Moroccan team before, so um, well, we'll see whether or not we get those. I think that's a bit of learning on the end of this podcast. Um,
Moroccans have a display team.
there you go. And maybe we might see them at RIAT. Who knows? With RIAT, anything is possible. I think.
Yep.
Um, and I think that is. I've run out of things to talk about. I think that is.
I've got one if
Oh, you
that's all
have a
right.
thing to talk about. Go on.
Please stop me if
Go
we've
on. No, no.
discussed it on another podcast I wasn't involved in. Have we discussed Shuttleworth, the Festival of Flight, with the Red Arrows and the Typhoon? I can't remember if we've discussed that one.
We did briefly discuss it on another show because I remember us talking about topsides because obviously
Yes,
being
I remember now. Yeah,
a curved display line, so having a Typhoon do a curved topside. Thank you very much. Yes.
I was flicking through my screenshots and checking which ones, if there were any ones that I'd missed, but I don't think so.
I think also, speaking of the Typhoon display team, they have an announcement to come this Monday. If you listen to this, it's tomorrow on the 22nd. Actually, well, to be fair, by the time this episode comes out, it might even be the day of. So guys might know exactly what it is. We, as recording, don't. It is rumoured to be a new display scheme of some sort for the jet, but who knows? We shall see.
It definitely got a lot of hype, I think, around online when they posted that little, what was it,
Yes.
4 or 5 second Instagram type reel. But it seems whatever this new scheme is going to be, I'm one looking forward to it, and two, it seems an obvious and deliberate change in their color scheme that
Yes.
they seem to be hinting at and teasing at. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow when whatever they announce tomorrow. I'm sure will be impressive.
Absolutely. And I guess we'll find out tomorrow. And hopefully, for you guys listening, you already know. And that is ending today's podcast episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And we really appreciate it. We're now 10 episodes in, and it's brilliant. I love doing this and talking to people about things and hearing all the things you guys have got to say when we post things on social media and looking at all the comments. It's honestly brilliant. And I'm so happy with the support that we're currently getting for the show. It's amazing. And I'd just like to thank you all for it. Especially into what could be a brilliant air show season, and with especially some of the rarities that are going around. I'm really enjoying it all, and yeah, I'm sure you'll probably echo the same sort of thing, Matt.
Absolutely, 100%. It's been brilliant just to sort of chat about the air shows and fast jets and everything else aviation in between, really. And yeah,
It's been brilliant. So thank you everyone for listening. We very much appreciate it. If you'd like to get involved with the conversation online when we do post things, maybe it's about the podcast or maybe it's about displays that are happening around the UK and Europe, you can follow us on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook. All you need to do is search for the Airshow Lounge and you'll be able to find us and get involved with any of the conversations. Other than that, thank you everyone for listening. I hope to have some brilliant updates for you in the next episode in 2 weeks' time. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.